everybody doing today? Happy Saturday. Max, you want to start with snacks? Snackies? Yeah, you always like snackies. You're going to eat it all the way up there? You know what we got, don't you? Are there eggies? Oh, I'm going to go for the climb. I'm going to go for the climb. And Max, this one's still hot. That's why I'm waving it in the air. Blowing on it, but doesn't blowing on food just feel weird these days? I mean, it's almost as if you shouldn't be blowing on food. Hi. Here's a little bit of eggy. Is that the good stuff? Does it taste like more? Want another little piece? Here you go. Yes, Pico, I have not forgotten about you. Let's cool down a little bit so I can get bigger pieces. I'll get you a piece. Well, hello, Einstein, Nerd Incognito. There's Sue Elizabeth. I know Tango joined us. Don't mind me, I'm just walking for eggs. Hey, Tico, you want some of these too, don't you? Max. Ooh, hot. So hot. Stay put, Max. I know, you can't wait. You can't wait. Here, this piece is a little cooler. It's an edge piece. A little edge piece. Max, have you been fed at all this year? You look so hungry. Hello, Greenbird. Hello, Tiffany. And her gray Joey. Careful, it's still warm. Careful. Yeah. Okay. Here, break a little bit more of this up. Okay, Tico, this piece is a little bit cooler. Here you go. Yeah. Oh, it's terrible, Max. You have to share with your brother. You have to share with your brother. Actually, it is a lot of fun to hand feed Max. When I first met him, he would not trust food out of a hand. Had to be out of a food bowl. Then he went through a phase where he was not sure if he wanted to grab the hand with food. And I was kind of settled into the idea that food is really good. And hands are for scritchies. Now, Max, please let the flockers know that we do feed you through the day and through the week. You're acting like you've never seen food before. The piece? Yeah. Sorry, Tico, did you run out of egg? Here's another big piece for you. Yeah, you're welcome. Tico really has the cutest way of saying thank you. He's developed this little swallowing sound. And it seems to be used in the context of when I give him something he wants, he'll thank me with that sound. Doesn't use the sound to ask for anything, just uses it to acknowledge that he's gotten what he wanted. Yeah, is that a good eggy, buddy? Let's just adjust the camera a little bit more. Oh, my fingernail. Yeah, glad to hear the Tango's doing better. A little concerned when I heard they had another vet trip. Tango, tell your pet Uman to take really good care of you. Another piece? Ho ho! Max. Look at all of the yumminess. Okay. All gone. Would you like some apple? I can get you some apple. Time to clean the beak. Hey Max, do you want an apple? Oh, I have an apple for you. Yes, Max, I know. You must have waited for Beakfest. Max, I'm just grabbing myself a coffee. Did you want another apple? Let's see. I have another piece of apple for you. You're still hungry? Are you still hungry? Is that good? And Max, yesterday we played, or last week we played on a box. I'll try that again. You know what? It might be that you're playing on the box or with the box. It's okay. You can start with that. Is that fun? Oops. Did I distract you? I'm sorry. How about we adjust that camera? There you are. So Max, I was going to put some stuff on the box when you're done chewing on it. Yeah, really, really good to see every birdie joining us. I see Doris is here. I'm just scrolling back through a few of the comments because I know I missed a few people. Mookie, Elizabeth, Ornithology Dude is here. Oh dear, Mookie says her sister went into the ICU last night. Her sister Ellen. Mookie, we're thinking about your sister, hoping that she is doing well. Please take care of her. Keep us posted, absolutely. So yeah, I'm just scrolling through comments here, trying to get caught up. Yeah, Connie's here too. Blue, Sprite, Lucas, Linus, everybody's here. So we started off the morning with some really tasty snacks, and I think Max was kind of hungry because he went after them like he had not seen food in a week. Yeah, Max. I've got some toys for you. I'm going to put out some boats, but I'm going to put them out on the box. I'm just going to reach over here. I'm going to let you decide what to do with them. So I've got them out on the box, and I got Max up high. He can climb down when he wants to, so I'm going to give him a couple of minutes. You want to play with the box? You want to play with the boats? Do you want to sit there like a lump on a log? There we go. I'm sorry, Tico. Did you want some apple? Yeah, you can have some. Here you go. Good? What are you doing up there, buddy? Saw a crust a minute ago. You don't want to come down and play with your boats? Yeah, Sue, I'm hoping the magnet gets there soon too. I know that Lori, Gonzo's Ooman, got her box socks this week. She's really, really excited about those. Blue Sprite, excited there's a purple one. You're thinking about the boats that we were talking about a minute ago? Yes, absolutely. Purple's a fun color. Did you know, I was just talking about box socks and I thought a purple one. Don't you mean a purple pair? That design is actually available in a variety of colors, including purple. So yeah, that's kind of fun. Yes, Einstein said that Tico and Max can share. They're a little bit confused by that word. They said that they could share the fleet of ships. Oh, Tango says that she has to admit that they have not worn Max's socks yet because they're so pretty and they don't want to use them. Tango, they are meant to be worn. I know they are gorgeous, but they are meant to be worn. And the good news, you can always pick up some more. Yes, Max does react when I say words like apple. Are you seriously going to take a nap? We just started our live stream, Max. Really, Max, really. So you're going to sit and nap? There's more fun stuff to do. We have boats and we have blocks and we have snacks. Ooh, snacks. I'm going to go grab myself that cup of coffee. Max is keeping a really close eye on me. He saw me go into the kitchen. Hey Max, do you realize we can see your under fluffies when you do that? Pardon me? Buck, buck, buck? Can we get a buck, buck, buck out of you? Yeah, that's not quite a buck. Yeah, know, Max? Yes, I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah, this is my coffee. Now, definitely have his attention now. There's liquid, there's a cup. He's wondering if there's something inside that cup for him. Max, would you like a drink of water, maybe? Max, would you like to not chew on my chair? You can do it. What's the matter? Do you think you need a little bit more room to get down? Here, I'm going to move the box over a bit. Can you climb down now? That's a bigger corridor. Is that better? Yeah, you can climb down without hitting your tail. Come on. Oh, poopers. Yeah, much easier to climb now that you've gone poop. Now, Max, we have had a discussion about chewing on the chair, and I think we agreed that we were not going to chew on it. Now, either Max is upset that I told him he could not chew on the chair, or because I offered him water and then I reneged. Did you really want some water, Max? I've got a mug of water in my hand for you. Do you want to climb down so you can get it? How about I move the tripod over just a little bit so I can reach up and over. Switch my hand around. Here you go, Max. Did you want a drink? One more? A bit more? What's the fluff? What the fluff? Don't know if you just heard that, but Tico made some really loud drinking sounds in the background. Are you done? So this week, Tico decided, I'm just going to readjust the camera a little bit. That's right, Max. Tico decided that his water bowl was fair game for a long squash. I gave him an entire long squash, and this thing was probably about 14, 15 inches long, and it was bigger around than Tico. Now, long squash are a relatively soft squash. You spin in your head, buddy? And they're a great treat for Tico. He does not get them all the time, but I got a few last time I went shopping. And he got his last one yesterday. I give Max a good chunk of one too. If you're on InstaFlock, Twitter, or Facebeak, you can see the video of him eating his long squash, and that's Max eating his long squash. But Tico was in his cage. Stay put, Max. Well, that's my coffee. Here. Did you want your water? Did you want more water? More water? No. You just don't want me drinking coffee if you don't have some. Is that the way it works? Well, Tico had the long squash, and I put it inside of his cage, and he tossed it around for a couple of minutes, and you just hear him bashing it around. Tico's in incredibly strong. So, Max, I do not want screaming right now. Well, that was noisy. Oh, let's see if I can get it. Let's see if you're in focus. Now, Max, your beak is still wet. And now the ball's wet. That's kind of disgusting. It's wet. I know you don't slobber, you drip. So, interesting fact about parrots. They don't have saliva like other mammals do. Their mouths are usually pretty dry. But he'd just been drinking a bunch of water, so his beak and tongue was still wet, and he decided to share that with me in the ball. Okay, I'm going to put the ball down with the fleet of ships. Is that okay? So now we have the ball and the fleet of ships. Do you think he can go down? So I was telling the story of Tico and the long squash. So this was a substantial amount of squash. And if you know Tico, Tico's the pumpkin king with squash and gourds and stuff like that. He will, he'll eat some, but he will shred the rest and just leave a large pile of whatever it is in small, tiny, bite-sized chunks. He is very methodological about it. He knows that he wants to shred stuff. Max, if you're going to hang out there, I'm going to lift. Oops, hang on that. I'm not going to lift that. Sorry, guys, just bear with me while I mess with the camera for a minute. I'm just going to see if I can lift the camera a little bit higher to give a better picture, because Max seems to think he's going to hang out up top for a little while. There, that's better. There you go, Max. So I left Tico with his long squash. Substantial amount of long squash, and I came back downstairs later on, and I noticed that the squash had disappeared. A little bit of evidence that there was long squash. Few bits and pieces on the bottom of the cage, but not a lot. Now, I was at work. I popped down just to grab a quick cup of coffee between meetings. Didn't think twice about it. Just sort of looked and thought, okay, you know, he probably ripped his paper. It's in the bottom tray. You know, sometimes he'll clean his cage, or he stuffed it out the back of his cage. He sometimes gets creative that way. I thought, you know, whichever it is, it's fine. It can be dealt with later. So later on, I came downstairs and I forgot about the long squash. I forgot that the long squash had kind of gone missing. And Tico was being really insistent about wanting fresh water. Now, I'd only given him fresh water a couple hours previous. And I said, you know, what do you really want, buddy? You got fresh water. I walked over there, looked into his water bowl, and his water bowl was packed. It was packed with little tiny bits of long squash and bits of water in between. He was making a really, really rich winter stew out of long squash. Yeah, so quickly dumped that one outside. I have a pail that I use outside if I need to dump a water bowl that's got lots of wooden bits in it or lots of food floating in it. Because face it, parrots and other birds love to make birdie soup. In this case, Tico decided he was going to make birdie stew. So poor Tico was wanting water, and he did not understand why his water bowl was full of these little bits of long squash when he clearly wanted it to be full of water. Yeah, that is called life with parrots in a nutshell. So I felt kind of bad because he clearly was a bit upset about his water. But, you know, he did do it to himself. There we go. So yeah, Max has already had lots of egg, a couple of slices of apple, enough water to fill a lake. So he really can't be too hungry. And he does look a little bit tired today. I mean, he was nesting when I got up this morning. The sun is rising a little bit earlier each day, and I think what happens, Max does rise with the sun. You know, he sometimes rises a bit before the sun because it's bright out, not because it's bright out, because I'm turning on lights and it's bright in. You know, but he does understand the sun, so I think that's why he is taking a few naps here. So yeah, let's just catch up on a few comments. Tango says this chat is weird. I cannot see Einstein's comments. Tango, I saw Einstein's comments at the top of the page. I'm not seeing anything right now. It might just be that Einstein's watching quietly, or maybe Marcia is watching while she's doing something else. I know I sometimes do that too. I will double check to make sure that it wasn't something I did. Yeah, defrosting freezers, not a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm really glad I've got a relatively new fridge and freezer that does not need to be manually defrosted. I remember the days. Okay. Yeah. Oh, and there's a comment from Einstein, so definitely his comments are working. Einstein, Marcia, and Jeff. I'll say, Boo, I'm sure Max would appreciate it if I'm peeling a grape right now. But, you know, he has enough toys and enough goodies. Yes, I'll say, Boo, Tico is really good at that water drip sound, and it does have meaning. Water drip itself and sort of like Tico's drinking water are sounds that he uses when he wants water. He never did bother to learn how to say water. What's the point? He's got the noises that water makes, and humans are, they can be trained to understand that means water. That's right, Tico. Hoping you heard that. But he does understand water. Max recently has begun to say the word water, not consistently, but he has asked for it a few times. Yeah, big fluffenchops right now. It's okay to have a bit of a quiet live stream. Sometimes you just want to sit and chill. Okay, Tico, you are still asking for water, are you? Would you like a bowl of water? Oh, grab me a fresh bowl. Well, don't look at me all jealous, Max. Your brother can have water too. There's Tico. You asked for some water? Yeah, is that fresh water? No, my bird. You made apple and egg soup. Max, what are you doing? Sorry, Tico. Oh, you're being good. I just heard Beak and wicker furniture, and usually that means trouble. I think if you own parrots, that question where you put in the parrot's name and ask, what are you doing, is a reflex when you hear a noise and you can't see the bird. It's enough usually that the bird thinks that you have eyes on the back of your head and that you are paying enough attention that you can catch them being naughty. Okay, Max. You're not seeming too interested in toys right now. Huh? Okay. I'm going to move the box. Oops. Put it here. Is it easier to climb down now? Okay, oops. Too close, too close. Next, I'm going to pick up the box. Careful. Now wait for me. Wait for it. And wait for the camera. There we go. Is that a good angle? Just a little bit further back. Can you see toys? Can you see the pretty boats? Can you see the jingle ball? Ornithology Dude, glad that you were able to come today. We are always available on the replay. We've got lots and lots of fun stuff this week planned, and hope you have a fantastic weekend. Thanks for stopping in. Tico gives you the ring of a bell. Oh yes, Max does definitely get jealous when Tico gets something he thinks he doesn't have. Yeah. And Tico, very creative cook. I never would have thought about egg and apple soup. I'll wash that out later. Oh, really, Max? Really? Those are very pretty feet. Okay, you can climb up. That's fine. How about we do this? Do you see your toys? I see toys. The bathroom that I use, I have one that's sort of dedicated to the birds for washing up bird dishes and bowls and everything else. And that's actually one of the doors just beside Max. So I'll wash up Tico's water bowl and clean up the soup later on. I find sometimes one favorite thing that the birds love to dunk are pellets, and then you end up with mushy pellets in the water. And easiest thing to do with those is, they're soft, they break up. You still don't want to dump them down a sink. You can't strain them out. So if they're soft like that, I'll toss them into the toilet and flush. Other than that, I'll take them outside and dump. My neighbors do probably wonder a little bit about the bucket out there. Nerd Incognito Sue says, I really enjoy the daily vids. I start my day with a coffee and Max. Yes, Sue, I'm really glad to hear that. The last couple of weeks, we have upped our posting schedule on YouTube, and we've been experimenting with doing daily videos. They're just a little bit shorter, 2, 3, 4 minutes, usually 4 minutes is sort of longer ones there. And they're just focused on one particular thing, whether it's Max dancing and twirling his head, maybe it's the game of cups, maybe it's Max's shower, but just sort of something a little bit different rather than Max's musings that used to be a full recap of the week. I currently have been able to keep up with the weekly schedule, but I'll remind everybody that the promise here is that I will post one video a week on the channel and do the live stream. So everything else right now is bonus. But if I can get things going well, and it does take a bit of time to put together those videos, I will admit. If we've got good viewership on them, good interaction on them, I'll definitely make some more time to make sure that I get them up. I've been noticing so far that the busier days are Monday through Thursday. So Friday's the quieter day. So what I might do is, if I'm having a tighter week, it might be the Friday video that gets dropped. But for the next couple of weeks, I'm going to stick with the regular daily videos during weekdays and just see how that one goes. Osevu says, our friend Ornithology Dude has a short video inviting people to join him on Discord, all things nature and birds. So we'll shout him out on that. Asevu, where is that video posted? Where can flockers find it? Toss up a comment in the comments, please. Sue says it's been brutally cold in Toronto this past week. Sue, it's been kind of chilly in Calgary as well. Alexa, current time.
The time is 11:25 a.m.
Alexa, current temperature.
Right now, it's minus 11 degrees Celsius. Today, expect a high of minus 1 degrees.
Ooh, it's going to warm up. -1 is our high today. But -10 with wind chill, we've been dropping down to, I think we hit -20 at night. I've been inside, so I've not been doing much outside except looking outside. I did do the couple of garbage runs this week and check the mailbox. And trust me, that's only a block or so away, but it was bitter cold out there. Now, it's cold is not too bad once you acclimatize to it, to be fair. If I just open up the door and I run outside and I go a block and I come back, I'm going to think it's absolutely freezing. But if I go outside and I know I'm going to be outside for a while, I can stand outside for an hour or two in that same temperature and say, it's not too bad out here. You acclimatize to it relatively quickly as long as you have the right gear on. Yeah. Okay, Asevu says that they will post a link to it when the video is reposted, but we'll post it here too. Perfect, Asevu. Go ahead and do that in the comments. Sue, I'm really glad to hear that you've been watching a lot of the old vids as you are a flocker newbie. We certainly have been building up on vids, and over time we've tried some different things. With the channel, we first started off with the more scripted vids, the stories, bit of humor. Then we started introducing some of the Max's musings, which were the weekly recaps, and they took some different first we started with them with full captions, then we started just including the small clips. Now we've moved into a little bit of a different feature video, sort of a glimpse into a day in the life of, and then we also have some of our educational videos, whether it's about nutrition, bird safety, what you need to know before you adopt, how to keep yourself safe from pet scams. There's a lot of those as well. So we have a bit of variety. I definitely plan to keep doing some of the story videos where a little bit of a story, there's a bit of a script. And the collabs. Those are also a lot of fun, where we invite some other flockers in, we join them. We did a really good one with Einstein, and Max and Einstein had a back off. We had some where we invited the flock for a Birdmas party, and we also had Trick or Tweet, which was a Halloween themed flock. We're definitely going to keep doing some of that as well. They are kind of fun. So we're going to keep doing a little bit of everything. Sue says the video about Max's background made her cry, but in a good way. He found an amazing home and mama. Thank you, Sue. Yeah, that video is a little bit long, but a lot of people ask, what's Max's backstory? And I thought that was probably the best way to tell it, was just, to tell it from his perspective and to share what we know about his background and really the changes in life that brought him to becoming as I call him, the Amityville Horror with wings or with feathers, your choice. But he was really a handful when I met him. You could not handle him. I'm going to just adjust that in a little bit closer, because if you're just going to nap there while I talk, that's okay. You're just going to be sweet. That's fine. But he was a bit of, he was a horror. He was screaming, he was biting, he was acting out, but for a very good reason. He was angry with the world. Can't say that I blame him. There was a lot going on in his life, and he had to learn a few things on flock. He had to learn that there were rules. When the first time I ever took him outside, I got one step outside, and you would have thought that I was trying to push him into a vat of boiling lava. We're outside for only a couple of minutes. I remember the first time that we went for a successful walk. That was really, really cool. When we moved in here, Max decided he was comfortable on the patio, and then he got a bit more comfortable with the complex, and then a bit more comfortable going for longer walks. He's learned when he's outside with Q, his buddy. Unfortunately, we haven't done any meetups in a while due to COVID, but when he's hanging out with his buddy Q, he was really nervous about walking outside one day with Q when we went to pet store and we went for a walk, and Max was just doing I'm nervous, and then he looked at Q and he's going, well, Q thinks it's okay. So he was okay walking as long as he could keep both of his eyes firmly fixed on his best feathered flocker, Q, his BFF, and she actually showed him that it was a bit safe. He's still nervous when it comes to wide open spaces, and he has his way of telling me that, hey, Uman, water started dripping from the sky. Please run home. This is scary. But he's gotten pretty brave about things. He's now wearing a harness happily. He's going outside regularly when the weather cooperates. We poked our beaks outside a few times this winter when we've had some Chinooks. Hello, Day by Day. Don't think you've been commenting in here before. I see you're also an Einstein flocker. And you're right, Max is listening intently. And Day by Day says, better than my child in virtual schooling. That's so funny. So funny. Chiller Theater asks the question, can Max talk? Max has some words that he likes to say. His favorite word is probably, or his favorite phrase is probably, "Hi, Max." You know, he's meeting a new person and he usually tells them, "Hi, Max," because this is what he wants them to say. He thinks that that is a very, very important phrase. He has a number of words that he will mumble. He's not super, super clear. Mama is very clear. Water is still kind of mumbled, but when you listen, you can hear it. And he usually will say it when he's looking at water or when he wants a drink. So he's correlating it. So he does say a number of words, nowhere near as talkative as our friend Einstein. And Tico's an African Ray who's part of our flock as well. Tico has a few words as well. He says a few phrases, but Tico very much is the strong and silent type. Tico, when he was a baby, decided that words are for communicating or for practicing when humans are outside of the room. And Tico's pretty great. I tried to teach him to say, I want a nut, I want an apple, I want egg, tell me what you want. And I wasn't very good at training at the time. Tico was far better at training. So he started off with, I want, and you know what, hey, you want what I've got, I'm going to hand it to you, I'm going to praise you, I'm going to reward you, thinking this is a step towards I want. Well, no, Tico trained me that I won, or I want, and he sometimes puts the T in there, was sufficient to communicate that he wants whatever I'm holding or whatever he's looking intently at. You see, he can train his hooman, and he doesn't have to know all the words. He just has to say, I want, and just look at something, and his hooman will hand it to him. So, yes, Tico, you've got fresh water in the bottom of your cage. A big bowl. You can even take a bath in it if you want. So Tico definitely trained me on that. Tico also has come here, come on up, which is basically come over here and pick me up. He'll tell me go poop, and sometimes he'll proudly announce it that he's just done it, and sometimes he'll tell me that he needs to do it. There's differences in inflection in his voice, and sometimes differences in the floor right underneath his tail feathers. What else do you say, Tico? Tico loves to say whisper and whisker. Anytime we get too noisy, he knows how to shush people. He does have a small vocabulary, but he uses it in a way that is very intentional. And although I'd love for him to talk a lot more, I do appreciate that he has made the choice to speak human when it suits him and when he has something to communicate. So that is very, very cool. So Sue, I know you really enjoyed the video of the story behind Max. Oh, there's some feathers up. Let's just adjust that a little bit. I'm kind of curious for the other flockers here who've been here for a while, who've been watching some of the videos, for people who are relatively new, what are your favorite videos? What would you recommend? Just toss them up in the comments, and even tell me what you like about them. What are your favorites? What stick out in your mind? Connie says, luckily we have no snow where I am, but in the north there was some snow yesterday and the day before. Yeah, we still have a good collection of snow outside. Max is not a huge fan of that. Yes, Sue, Alberta is cold, but at least down in Calgary we have Chinooks, which are warm winds that come over the mountain. They melt some snow, they raise the temperatures for a couple of days. providing false hope before we were plunged back into winter. Okay, catching up here on comments. Yeah, Chiller and Day by Day, so glad that you're joining us in the chat. Always good to have new flockers joining us. And Connie's quite right. She says 10 degrees Celsius is like autumn in the winter, not cold at all. But now it's colder, -2 in the day, -5 in the night. Yeah. Well, quite honestly, in the middle of summer, if it's only 10 degrees or it's only 8 degrees out, even with the sun shining, we're not going out way too cold. Whereas in the middle of winter, when we have a Chinook, that's cause to go outside for a brief minute or two, supervise some cars, check out the sunny shine, and for Max to take a bit of a look around. Yes, Max. You see his little foot is tucked up and he's just sitting there having a bit of a nap, fluffing chops up. Max, you got to take a nap before the live stream, not during it. Yeah, I mean, I put out some toys, but you know, it's really up to Max what he wants to do. He gets to tell us what he wants to do. And right now he wants to pretend he has one foot and the other foot is well hidden underneath some feathers. He knows how to keep his feet warm. Oh, Connie's from the Netherlands. It always amazes me just how many different countries are represented. We're really a worldwide community. Sue's super sweet. She says she could watch a whole hour live of Max just sitting there and Max taking a nap. Absolutely. Oh, Max, you're going to sit. I'm going to sit for a minute too. I'm going to sneak a cup of coffee. Sometimes Max gets active when he sees me sit down because he thinks, no, we can't let the hooman sit on the job. Day by day, we have 2.5 birds, 2.5 parrots. We have Max the Moluccan, Tico the Congo African Gray, and there's also an Amazon by the name of Tikel who stays with us frequently. COVID's changed that a little bit. Normally at this time of year, Tikel would be hanging out at the birdie resort with us. Some years Tikel will, he'll come for a few weeks, a few months at a time. His humans are retired and really living their best life. They're doing a lot of traveling and they understand that, they really can't take him with them when they go traveling. They do sometimes when they're doing some camping trips in their van that are local, but you cannot just transport a bird like that across the border. But they also know, Tikel's been staying with us now, how many years has Tikel been coming, Max? Probably about 15? Now, what did I say that I was going to have to get up and readjust the camera as soon as I sat down? There you go, Max. Some toys. Oh, go poop. Now, that was a wet one. And that's because he was just drinking a bunch of water. Oh, there's 2. Thank you, Max. And of course, he decided to pick the side of the chair where there is no newspaper. Aw, Max, what are you thinking? Do you see your toys? No, we're not going to climb off. We're going to hang out. Here, how about a toy? Yeah. Now, so Tikel does stay here a lot. Some years Tikel will hang out. I've had some years where Tikel's been here maybe half the year, on and off through the year. So we consider Tikel to be part of the flock as well. I mean, Tikal shows up and the birds just sort of look and go, oh, you decided to fly over here for a bit. I have a spare cage that is actually a bit of a travel cage, smaller cage I use for Tico when Tico travels. When Tikal comes over, I just pop that up. That's Tikal's home when he's here. It works out really well, but that's why I say 2.5 parrots, just because Tikal is very much part of the flock. And when he's here, he hangs out with us. Here's a question for you to answer in the comments. Do you want to see me make up a couple of videos of Tikal just from some of our older footage? Even though Tikal's not hanging out with us, we could do that. We have lots of video from the last time he was here. Oh, Chiller, always glad to answer questions. I don't always see everything in the chat, and sometimes I'm a little bit late circling around to it, but it certainly is something that we try to do. This is a community, and we are here to chat. And one thing I just really, really love as well is some of the flockers who are regulars, they'll answer each other's questions in the comments too. So that is absolutely fantastic. Yes, Chiller, it does take a lot of patience to train birds, and it takes a lot of patience for birds to train their pet humans too. Okay, so talking about favorite videos, Asevu says Tico and the egg is their favorite video, and that one's called The Meaning of Life, and it's a hilarious video about Tico discovering, he's eating a hard-boiled egg and it flipped over. He looked at it and suddenly he had some hormones kick in. Let's put it that way. I'll post that one up in the community. I'll post the link to that one in the community. If I forget, please poke me with a stick. And I'll toss that one up because that one's definitely a lot of fun. Cebu also loves Max's capers outdoors. Yeah, those are fun too. We really can't wait until we can go back outdoors. We did get a couple of outdoor videos in the last little while, just because we've had a few days with Chinook and we've popped out. Day by day, birds deal with cold just through fluffing up feathers. I mean, right now, Max, you can see he's fluffed up, he's cozy. The foot that's underneath the feathers, if I reached out and touched that one right now, it would just feel like a blast furnace. He's keeping it warm and cozy. But having said that, these parrots are tropical birds. They're not used to really, really cold temperatures, but they can acclimatize to a certain degree. They'll definitely, if they find that the environment is cool, they're probably going to grow a bit more down feathers. The behavior, they're going to fluff up a little bit more. But what we do with the out of doors is a very simple rule. If I'm comfortable outside in shirt sleeves, it's probably okay for the birds. If I'm too hot, they're probably overheating a bit too because they're not used to it. If I'm too cold, you know what? They've got lots of feathers, but they're probably kind of chilly as well. So that's why when I pop outside in the winter, my neighbors think I'm insane. I'm out there just in shirt sleeves. It might be 10 degrees up. But if I've got the bird out with me, I'm out there in shirt sleeves because this way I can immediately judge just how comfortable the bird is. But, if Max gets cold, he'll tell me he wants to go in. He's very good at communicating that. Let's see. Hi, Borb. Glad that you joined us. I don't know if you jumped in earlier or not. It's been a bit of a quiet live stream, but we started off with some really tasty snacks. If you did miss the start of the live stream, you can always watch it on the replay. And hey, you can always watch it twice on the replay too. The replay hours help count towards our hours for monetization with YouTube. So every time you're watching videos, it helps us out. Live stream, while it's streaming, I found out it does not count towards watch hours, but any hours after it's streamed do. So if you watch the streams again later in the week, it will count for us as well, even if you toss it on. So we've had a bit of an uptick in view hours recently. Really, really appreciate that. way that YouTube works is there's a number of different levels. We had to get to a certain level before we could start doing live streams, such as what we're doing today, and utilize some of those features. The next level is their monetization level, where we need 1,000 followers, which we're quite comfortably past, and 4,000 watch hours within the past 365 days. We're shy of that number. We still have quite a ways to go. And every month as it ticks over, as our viewership grows and more people are watching, that number starts to slide up. So once we get there, we will have better help if we need to reach support. There's some more channel features that are available. And it's definitely, we're looking at ways to improve the channel and improve the experience for everybody. Now, we got a new toy this week. Have not unboxed it yet, but I'm going to give you a sneak peek. And this was picked up not just for work, but also for live streams. So I don't know if you can see what we've got here. Hopefully that's focusing. So we picked up one of the pro webcams that a lot of YouTubers are talking about that are quite good. Can tether onto a laptop, can set it up on a tripod. This one's a bit of a widescreen as well, which is okay. Good frame count per minute, good quality. But that means that rather than trying to stream off of a phone, we can stream off of the laptop, where we've got a bit more control and we can keep a better eye on some of the angles, some of the colors, and some of the lighting. And we might be able to make these a little bit better as well. I've had this for a little while. I've got a ring light. I just unfortunately have got a broken stand for it, and it does not hook onto a traditional tripod. I'm going to see if I can hook up a bit of a clip arrangement with that. So keeping fingers crossed on that, and hopefully we can get a little bit of better light for the flock as well. I know some of our videos are a bit inconsistent with light, but quite honestly, we go outside, bright sunlight. We come inside. I mean, right now, Max's light is, just gonna scooch up. There we go. The ceiling light right there. And I mean, that does light him fairly well. I've got lights on behind me as well, but we don't have as much direct light as we might have. So we are beginning to improve the setup just to make slightly better videos for everybody. At the end of the day, you come here to see the birds, but it's good to be able to see them clearly. So that is kind of fun. Now, we've been going for a while. I'm just going to catch up on the last comments, the last couple of questions. Chiller asked, how are Max and Tico with strangers? Chiller, Tico is an introvert. I know, Tico, I'm talking about you. He is an introvert, does not like strangers, does not really like crowds of people. He's happiest, if he goes out, he's really happy going hiking in the mountains with me solo. Yep, that's perfect. Occasionally seeing other people, but they can keep their distance. Max, on the other hand, is a party bird. His idea of fun is to, when we do the Moluccan meetups, we'll head out. One place we used to go to quite often was Pisces Pets. They've got a beautiful store. It's really well set up, and it would be a group of us. It's a huge store. We'd hang out by the waterfall. We'd take a tour of the saltwater and freshwater aquariums. We'd visit the monkeys. We would literally sort of wander through it. It felt a little bit like a small zoo, quite honestly. And Max loved it. And everybody shopping there loved it. But Max was getting a lot of attention. He'd meet 100 new people. He'd get his picture taken. He'd get scritchies. He'd talk to them. He was just in birdie heaven. I mean, this was the highlight of his week. When we're outside, somebody walks past, he perks right up, he says hello. And I think that's why he really loves the patio, is we are on We're back private, but there's also a parkway, so we can watch people going past, and he can interact with people, and he's learned how to say hello to people, so they say, oh my gosh, is that a bird? Can I come meet him? And he basically has his string of admirers walking right up to give him scritchies and the attention that he craves. He really is a social bird. Connie has a 41-year-old African gray. That's super cool. Connie, did you know that Tikal, the Amazon that hangs out with us, is, I've got to stop and count on fingers now. I'm going to say 46, 47 years old. He's getting up there. And our friend Lori had a Timney African gray who passed away sadly a bit before Christmas. But that Timney had reached the remarkable age of 61. And Timneys, they're the smaller African grays, and they have a lifespan of 30 to 40 years. So just remarkable. It's amazing how long the birds can last. Oh, Connie, so sorry to hear that he's going blind, but you said that it doesn't bother him at all. But the birds and other animals sometimes start to go blind, but you keep things the same. You do a lot of audio cues. If you're moving things around, you slowly introduce them to the changes in the environment, and they can do quite well. Yeah. Greenbird says, I would stop for Max every single time. Greenbird, when we go walking through the community, we have had people stop. We've had people stop on the parkway. Can I get a picture with him? It's like, yes, but can you just pull in over here? There's not on the main road. I don't want to be witness to an accident. Don't worry. I'll walk the block and join you. It's safe to park there. But yeah, absolutely, Connie. That was Gonzo, and he was 61. Super, super cool. Yeah. So everybody, I want to thank you for joining us this week on the live. We've got some really fun stuff coming up this week. Now Max starts to wake up. Is that right, Max? You gonna have a final word? That was Tico in the background saying hello. That was Tico's final word. Do you have anything else to say, Max? But yeah, we'll get lots of good content out for every birdie. I'll post a link to the Meaning of Life video with Tico. And I'm going to get that new webcam set up and hopefully ready for streaming for next week. So we might have a little bit of a slightly different look next week. Might be a bit of a learning curve. There might be a pop-up live stream when I'm experimenting with it. Just saying, these things sometimes happen. Tico had a pop-up live stream a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, it's so great to see every birdie joining us. I will see you all next week. I'll see you in the comments section. And yes, absolutely, I hope to see you on Einstein's Live tomorrow. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Hey, Max, can you say buck buck? You want to say buck buck? Or do you want to just step up? Come on. Come. All right. There we go. Final close up. It would have been easier to take the camera to Max. Bye-bye.